Hi everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about some inbuilt function of Pythons. We will see what is a lambda function, what is map, what is filter, and we will also see how we can use them and where we should use so that our code will become more efficient. So guys, without doing further delay, let's get into this. As you can see that I am in a PyCharm and I have already created a file L14.py because this is lecture 14. So let me write here lecture 14. And now guys, first of all we will see what is a lambda function. After that we will see what is map, and after that we will see what is filter function. Alright. Now guys, let's see what is a lambda function. Guys, first of all you should know that lambda is an anonymous function which doesn't have any name, and you can use this function when you want to do only single tasks in a function. So let's see with the code that how we can use them and how it will make our code more efficient. So I'm going to comment this one, and first of all I'm going to create a simple function which will return me a square of a value. So let me write a function, define the function name. I'm going to give L, and it will take one argument, okay, and it will return the square of that number. Okay, now if I execute this function, so let me print, and inside of that I want a square of 5 numbers. So let me run this code. So it printed 25, fine, because we have passed 5 and it printed the square value of that 5. Alright, but guys, here we can use a lambda function because we were just doing a one task. We are just returning the square of that value. So how we can use that? So let's see that. Guys, remember, I'm going to create a lambda function with this function only. So the name I pass here L. So I'm going to write here L. And now you have to use a keyword lambda. Now you have to put a colon, and before column you have to pass number of argument. So here we have only one argument, so I'm going to pass here one argument. The argument is x. After column, what do you want to do in a function? I want to return a square of my argument, so I'm going to use x raised to power 2. So what it will do, it will take that argument in a function and it will return the square of that value. And if I comment this function, and now if I run this code, and you guys can see that I got same value 25. If I use a 4, and if now I run this code, it's working fine. It's written 16 now. So this is how you can use a lambda function. And if you don't want to give a name of your lambda function, so what you can do, let me delete this line and let me use a print statement here only. Print, and guys, this lambda function I'm going to put in a bracket, and after that I will also give a one bracket. Inside of that I'm going to pass my argument. If the function is having, if it is not having any argument, then you don't need to pass any argument. Alright, so I have one argument, so I'm going to pass here one argument, and I want the square of 10. And if I close this print statement and run this code, and you guys can see that I got 100, which is working fine. So guys, this is the basic way which I show you how you can use a lambda function. Now let's use a lambda function to add two numbers. So I'm going to comment this one. I'm going to write a lambda function, lambda, and it will take two arguments, x and y, and after that I will just return x plus y. Okay, this is a lambda function, and I want to give it name, so I will take here s. Okay, now I'm going to print s. Inside of that I have to give two arguments now, which is 3 and 5, so it should return 8. So let's run this code, and you guys can see that I got 8. So this lambda function is working fine. It's taking two arguments and it's going to return that sum of these two arguments. So I hope now you got a clear idea that how you can use a lambda function in Python and when to use when you have only one task to do in your function, and it will make your code more efficient. Now guys, let's move to a map function. So I'm going to comment this one, and let's write a map. This map is basically take two arguments, argument 1 and argument 2. And guys, argument 1 is basically a function, and here you can use a lambda function, your normal function, any function you can use. And second argument is your object, which must be iterable. And we all know that what are iterable object: list, set, tuples. String is also an iterable. We can iterate character of that string, so we can use only that object which is iterable in argument 2. And guys, it is going to return an iterable object only. Alright guys, I hope this much is clear to you. So now guys, let's see how we can use them in a code. Guys, I'm going to create an iterable object. So I'm going to name is num, which will store some numbers. So let me write it 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Alright guys. So we have take some num in our num list. Now what I want to do in this num list, I want to add 5 in all the numbers in this list. How we can do that? The one way which we can do that, let me write a way 1. We can create a function, define function. It will take a number x and it will return x plus 5. Now let me create a new list, new num, and it is empty now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to iterate over this num list. So what I will use a for loop for data in num, and what I'll do, I will just say new num dot append a function of data. Now this data will have all this number one by one, and it will goes in this function. This function will return plus 5 of that number. The first time it will take 2 and it will return 2 plus 5 7, and we will store in new num. And after that it will take 3 and 3 plus 5 is 8, and after that we will store in new num. So now if I print my new num, print new num, and if I run this code, and guys you can see that I got plus 5 in all these numbers of this list. 2 plus 5 is 7, 3 plus 5 is 8, 6 plus 5 is 11, and so on up we get all these numbers. But guys, what we have done here, we have used a loop, and we can avoid this actually using a map. Let me comment this one, and let me comment this new num, and if I just use here map will take 2 arguments, remember. So first argument is a function, so we have already defined function with fun. Alright, and the second is your num, which is an iterable object. Alright guys, so we have done this, and we all know that it's going to return some iterable object, and that object we have to convert in list by typecasting, and after that we will store in new num. Once I have done this thing, so now guys, what this map function will do, this will iterate over this num list, and let me delete this one comma and let me put here. Alright, so now what this will do, so map will iterate over this list, and one by one it will pass every data into this function which we have passed in our first argument. So you can see here we have passed in our first argument. So after that what it will do, it will add our data which will be written by this function into new num. And if I run this code now, and you guys can see that I got same output 7, 11, 8, 14, 17, 20. So we just avoided this 3 line. And guys, we can also avoid this 2 line because it is only doing one task in a function, and we know that if we have to do only single task in a function, we can use a lambda function. So I'm going to use a lambda here. Inside of function, I'm going to write a lambda, and it will take only one argument, and after that it will return just addition of 5. So let me comment this now, and let me write a way 2. And guys, now if I run this code now, still I am getting the same output, because every time map function is iterating over this num, and every data of this num is going to this function, and this function is going to return plus 5, and we are storing that number into a new num, and after that we are just printing that new num. So basically we have avoided this 5 line of code in just single line of code using a map and lambda. So this is the way how you can make your code more efficient and more attractive to the other person. And guys, if you're not getting something, you can write in the comment section. I'm always there to help you. Let me comment this one. So now guys, let's see our last function, which is filter. Let me write a filter. And guys, filter is same as a map. It also takes 2 arguments, argument 1 and argument 2. And the first argument will also be a function, and the second argument is an iterable object. So basically you can use a filter function when you have a function which is going to return true or false. If your function is returning these 2 things, true or false, then you can use a filter function, and it will accept only those data which is going to return a true in a function. So let me create a function define fun, and it will take a 1 argument, and after that just I am going to return x mod 2 is equal to 0, which means it will return true if number is even, else it is going to return false. So basically we are doing this thing in with the function. And guys, if function is returning true or false, that means you can use a filter here. So how we can use them, let's see. So guys, let me write here my num list. Let me take it from above. Let me comment this one. Let me paste here. Now guys, we have this number list and we are interested to take only the even number. So what we can do here, I'm going to use a new num, just like in map we did. I'm going to use a filter, and here I will pass my first argument is function, and the second argument is iterable object, which is my num, and it is also going to return an iterable object. So we have to convert in a list by typecasting. So we have done now. Let me print a new num. And guys, if I run this code, and you guys can see that we go just 2, 6 and 12, which are even numbers. So what does this filter doing? It's just taking all the data from the num, and one by one it's passing in this function, and if the function is returning true, then it is appending that number in new num. If it is returning false, then it is not going to append in this new num. So that's how this filter function is working. And guys, I know you got an idea that we are doing simple one task here. So instead of doing this one task, we can use a lambda function, and here I'm going to use a lambda function. It will taking one argument, so I'm going to use one argument here. Here I was returning just x mod 2 is equal to 0, so same I will return here. So let me paste here. So now what it will do, it will take a number, and if that number is even, then it will going to return true, otherwise it will going to return false. And if I run this code now, and you guys can see that with one line of code, just we find out what is the even number in this list. So this is how you can use a filter function in Python. And I hope guys you understood that how to use a lambda function, map function, filter function in Python. And guys, if you still have any kind of doubt, you can write in the comment section. So now guys, this is the time to give you tasks. Let me write here tasks. So guys, here I'm going to give you only one task where you have to use a lambda as well as map function. The initial list you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. These 10 elements. Alright. And guys, you have to take a new list by applying a function to every number of this list. And the function is x cross 5 plus 7. So guys, what your program should do, you have to apply this function to every number of this list. So the final list should be, first time if you apply this function to 1, so 1 cross 5 plus 7 is 12. On second time you have 2 value, so if you apply this function on 2, so you will get 2 cross 5 plus 7 is 17, and so on up to this you will get your data. So that is your task you have to do. So if you watch this video carefully, then you can do this task very easily. That's all in this video. If you like this video, give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe my channel. Meet you in the next video. Thank you.